We're back in Mount Lake Terrace with our show sponsor, Red Onion Burgers, and the owner, Sean Richards. Sean, I'm like a lot of people these days. I've got a busy schedule. I barely have time to find food when I'm home. And sometimes on the weekends, I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to watch football. You guys are making it easy for us with Uber Eats. Tell me a little bit about that program.
It's easy to do with Uber Eats. You can get Red Onion Burgers delivered to your home. All you got to do is get on your app, order your food. It'll be delivered within 15 to 20 minutes, and voila, you're watching football.
Easy enough. Enjoy food from the comfort of your couch. Red Onion Burgers.
Welcome to This Week in High School Sports. I'm Teresa Whipple, and Steve, Red Onion Burgers and football.
Yeah, Uber Eats, right?
That's right.
The big game's coming up in a couple of weeks, and certainly if folks are putting together a party and they need to have food delivered to the house, why not? Plenty of good eating there, and we appreciate Sean and Lorraine and the rest of the Red Onion folks for their support.
We do, and now moving on to the other sport we talk about a lot, basketball.
We do tend to talk basketball
Yes,
this
we
time of
do.
year, and especially now with the regular season starting to wind down, a couple weeks left. Some of our teams playing very well. Mount Lake Terrace boys, 15-1 right now, 10-game winning streak. The Edmonds-Woodway girls, they're 14-2 on the season. They just knocked off Shorecrest the other night, who's undefeated in league play, or was undefeated in league play. Not anymore. Nice job, Warrior ladies. And another basketball team, the Meadowdale Mavericks. The boys picking up 2 wins this week. They're now in 5th place in the conference. That's a huge deal right there, because the top 5 may, in fact, be able to skip over the play-in games and go immediately into the district playoffs. So that's a position they really want to stay in. So we thought we better catch up with them and find out how things are going. Brought 2 of their senior players into the studio to talk Maverick basketball. Here are the interviews we did with Oak and Justin. The Meadowdale Mavericks basketball team picked up 2 huge wins this week. Victories over Lynnwood and Marysville Getchell on Tuesday and Friday night. They're now 4-3 in league play, 8-7 overall. More importantly, 5th place in a very tough Wesco conference. And with us right now, 2 of the seniors on that team, Justin Chambers, Okeoma, Okoro. Gentlemen, congratulations on nice wins this week.
Thank you.
And I should point out, too, wins over 2 teams without your leading scorer this year, Daniel Barhoum, who is out with an injury. Should be back this week, we hope. Justin, when you play against teams in this Wesco Conference and your leading scorer goes down for a week, is it put more pressure on everybody? Is it next man up? What's the mentality for Meadowdale basketball?
Oh, it's definitely next man up, with our leading scorer out. I feel like, especially for the seniors, you have to, put more work in. As far as, the younger kids, they have to start playing better defense, and then the seniors take care of the scoring. So.
And speaking of taking care of the scoring, 19 points and 10 rebounds in the game. Congratulations. And we should point out for his performance, let's do this right now, Justin is our Action Jackson Plumbing Player of the Week, so you can wear that T-shirt proudly. Tell me a little bit about your game. Double-double. When you're in the moment like that, do you know how many rebounds you have? Are you a stats guy?
No, not necessarily. If I'm a stats guy, it's mostly be the rebounds and the assists. I don't really worry about the points until the end of the game. So.
And the guy next to you here, Okeoma, you didn't score in the game. You had 7 rebounds though. And when I talked to Coach O'Neill, he mentioned that you might have been one of the more valuable players, if not the most valuable player on the night. You're kind of a defensive guy. You're the big body down low. Tell me how important that is to bring that to a team and what it means to the Mavericks.
Yeah, especially with our makeup of guys. We have a whole bunch of not to get at them, but they're kind of thin and skinny. So me being the only kind of the muscle on the team, I feel like it's my job to really bring it defensively. And so with me and my loud voice, I'm able to direct people to their spots, make sure I can point them out on their mistakes and have better footwork to make sure they can keep their guy in front of them. And especially in zones, making sure they're able to be in their spots and really be able to defend the hoop. So.
And this is a team that's very senior heavy, 8 seniors. The fact that there are so many guys with experience and with a little more age, does that make that job easier? Do they take direction better that way?
Yeah, I would think so, especially since the majority of the seniors have been on varsity before, so they know there's going to be another player on the team that has a loud voice and is able to direct them on the court. So last year was Drew Tingstad, so this year I've taken that role. I've taken that responsibility to make sure that everyone is sound defensively. So I think that's probably my number 1 priority.
And it seems to be working right now. We mentioned 2 victories the other day against teams that are in the lower half of the the standings, but really this is a Westco Conference right now that top to bottom is fairly tough. On any given night, we've seen Marysville Getchell defeat Everett. I saw Lynnwood beat Snohomish by 26 points last week. So this is a Lynnwood Royals team that's getting a lot better. Justin, for you and your teammates, how vital was it to get those 2 wins, not only for where you are in the standings, but even just for morale and for giving yourself a little momentum as you head down the final stretch of the regular season?
Oh yeah, it's definitely confidence. Just knowing that if you take care of the lower part of the standings, the top half of the standings will be much, I wouldn't say easier, but more comfortable. We'll be able to play our game well. So yeah.
Those are often trap games too, right? I think there's a tendency for a lot of teams when they're playing a team with a lesser record to maybe get a little complacent and overlook them. Oak, talk to me a little bit about that and how you prepare for teams. I mean, on any given night, whether it's Marysville Pilchuck or Shorecrest, who's at the top of the standings, or a team on the lower half, is it the same focus every night, no matter what?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I always go into games not knowing what the outcome can be, because we know, especially with the lower teams, we know that we're better than them. But I always go into games thinking that anything can happen, and one thing might lead to another. They might get the upper hand on us. So I always go into the game thinking that we might be better than them. We might not be better than them, but just go into the game and just playing hard, playing my game, not try to force too much stuff, and good things will come.
This is kind of an exciting time of the season too, where you've got 2 weeks left in the regular season. Most teams either have 4 or 5 games remaining. 9 teams make the playoffs. Top 4 and maybe top 5, depending on how things play out up north, are going to make it automatically past the play-in games and into the district tournament automatically. You guys currently sit in the 5th position. Justin, I know a lot of players and a lot of coaches try to act like they're not paying attention. They only focus on their own game ahead of them and what's going on with them. Come on, I mean, it's too easy to see these things nowadays, right, with the internet and with social media. Are you guys scoreboard watching a little bit after games? Are you paying attention to what other teams are doing?
Oh yeah, every game I always go on the Westco website, look at the scores, and yeah.
You have to, right?
Yeah, I have
Well,
to.
and how important would it be to be in the top 5? Because we've talked about this with Coach O'Neill in the past. Up until last year, this team hadn't been to districts for, I think it was 6 years. Last year, you guys had to go through the play-in game just to get to districts, and then you went out after 2 straight losses. Do you start to talk about districts at this point? Is it something that's been talked about all season? Was it written down on a goal sheet? Oak, let me ask you first. I mean, getting to districts and being able to get through that play-in game, how important is that for you?
I think it's really important. We would have liked to have probably like a better start to the season, so that when the end comes, we wouldn't have to worry about that playing game, like we're already there in districts. But I feel like we're in a good position right now, and if we do get to that time when we do have a playing game, it's always the same mindset, always the same mentality, and making sure that we need to be able to get that win in order to get into districts. So.
It's an interesting team, too, in that you guys have never really been at full strength this year. We mentioned Dan Barholm being out for the last couple of games. Tafa Sonko, I know you guys were relying on fairly heavily going into the year and thought was going to do big things. He misses the first half of the season, or more than the first half of the season, with an injury. He's now back. Once you get Dan back onto the court next week, you're finally at full strength, really, for the first time all season. Justin, do you sense that this team is starting to kind of gel at the right time as you get ready for the playoffs?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like I said earlier, just how tall we are and how lanky we are is going to cause a lot of problems for the teams of Westco, and it's going to be exciting to play. So I can't wait.
Hey, we've gotten to know your coach pretty well, Roger O'Neill. We had Roger in here earlier this year to talk about the team and to talk about the assistant coaches. Tell me a little bit about Coach O'Neill. What does he mean to this team, and how much does he bring to the table? Oak, I'll ask you first.
Personality-wise, he's a great guy. He has a lot of knowledge about the game, and kind of he always stresses the little things in order for us to be successful on the court. And, sometimes sometimes his voice is pretty low, pretty quiet, but on the court it's like loud where everyone can hear him. And so, other than me, he just has that voice and is able to communicate stuff. But other than that, he's been, ever since being on varsity since last year, he's been a pretty good coach.
And Justin, what has he meant for you? Because really, Coach O'Neill is kind of a legend at the school, right? I mean, a very great career as a player, went on to play college basketball. When you're able to pull from that and from his experiences and from his expertise. What does that mean for you as a player?
It means that I have two things in mind. Like first, I want to like get up to his pedestal. I want to like see if I can get up there and reach it. But on the other hand, it gives like a different perspective of like how I view the game. That he teach me certain things that can help me go to college. So it's really cool.
I'm going to ask you guys about your teammates here in a minute, but first, tell me a little bit about each other. I know we've been talking individually about your games here a little bit. Oak, tell me a little bit about Justin Chambers and what he means to the team, and what kind of a player is he? What kind of a teammate is he?
Justin's a loud guy. He's a really loud guy.
He's a loud guy?
Yes, he
Okay.
is. He just walks with this confidence and swagger that like he can beat anybody, and I mean that's not a lie. He can beat anybody. He's that talented. On the court, I mean, he just causes matchup problems for like other people on the other team, and he's always there picking up everyone on the team, and whenever he make a mistake, he's always rushing over, always saying keep your head up and like on to the next play. So it's always reassuring to have that kind of voice on the team, you know, especially when we're on the court a lot of the times, just having him there, just like him just picking me up. So
We saw him hit a game-winning three-pointer against Marysville-Pilchuck last year. Leads the team in three-pointers this year, too, so I can get it down inside and out, right?
yes, he can.
Now, tell me a little bit about Mr. Defense over here. What's Oak bring to this team? And he talked about his presence inside a little bit already, but tell me about him as a leader, as a player, and as a teammate.
You know, on the defensive end, I never seen like somebody just clog up the middle so much as where like no one wants to drive in because they're afraid to get the shot block. But I like Oak just because how like when he gets going, like it's really hard to stop him because he's full speed. He does all the post moves in the paint. He plays real good defense. He's very vocal. And then he picks me up when I'm down. You know, sometimes during practice I'm not feeling it, and then he'll talk to me one-on-one, be like, you know, you're really important on the team, this and that, and I want you to like do better, and I really appreciate that. So.
And as far as looking over the roster here, we mentioned already 8 seniors. Tell me a little bit about some of these guys. You know, we've got the Harvey brothers and Will Schaefer, who's been on the team for quite a while. We've talked about Dan Barhome a little bit. Oak, tell me a little bit about some of these players and what they mean and what they bring to the team.
Oh yeah, kind of want to start with the sophomores that we have, Colin and Will. Colin is just an athletic freak. I mean,
It's Colton Walsh, yeah.
Yeah, he brings just another dimension to the team that's really helpful and that can really impact the game. Will, you know, off the bench, when he goes into the game, he gets his shot and he's able to knock down that shot. He's a really good shooter. Yeah, the Harvey brothers, Drew and Mason. Yeah, they're both marksmen from down there. They can really shoot. They're like opposite, left hand, right hand. You know, Dan is his scoring has gone up a lot since last year, and he's gotten better in finishing the paint. So especially with his height and his length, he can cause problems defensively. You know, Tommy is probably the second biggest guy on the team behind me. So having him come off the bench and provide the backup muscle, it's really important for us. And then Nick is just he's like Colton too. He's an athletic freak, taller of course, longer wingspan. You know, I'd say he's probably a better shot blocker than me because just for his ability to get up there and really challenge shots. It really helps. It really enforces the team defense. And so it's really important.
That's Tommy Dimmick and Nick Buckley we were talking about there. I know Haben Teckel had a nice game the other night too, right? So tell me about he got his first start. Is that correct?
Yeah, first start on Tuesday against Lynnwood. Yeah. He showed up because I know that wasn't one of my best performances. I had a really bad game, so I know that Haben was really feeling himself. So I focused on giving him the ball. But yeah, he's a really good player. I like him on the team. Funny guy, and he's going to be real good next season. And then as far as like the seniors, I like Will Schaefer's IQ. His IQ's he's
very impressive. Running the show at the point, right?
It's good. Mr. Barhome, he's a solid player. I just love the way he like slips in and try to like scores. Like he gets his points. Not mostly off offensive boards, but he gets that way that he drives to the paint. He can finish. And then the Harvey brothers, they can shoot. Let me see. Drew had a good game Friday. He hit a couple threes for us. That was good. And then Mason, just his quickness to really get into the lane and make plays. And then the sophomores, Colton has a bright future. I just like the way he plays. Will McKinley, he didn't play with us Friday, but he's a good player. I like playing with him. And then who else?
I think we covered everybody a couple times over. So nice job, guys. I like how, by the way, I start off. I was going to go seniors and work my way down. And Oak, you wanted to jump right in to talk about the sophomores. So nice senior leader. They're wanting to give the young bucks a shout out there. So nicely done. Hey, I'm looking at the schedule here coming up. Two teams that are kind of nipping at your heels there in the standings. Mm-hmm. You go to Everett on Monday, and then on Friday, it's a rematch game against Edmonds-Woodway. Hate to remind you guys this, but they got you the first time around. Yeah. You play the Warriors again, big rivalry game. Mm-hmm. What does that game mean? I mean, how important is it? I mean, obviously in the standings it means a lot, but crosstown rivals and these two schools, neither one wants to have the other one have the upper hand on them, right? So, Oak, how important is this game on Friday?
Oh, it's really important, especially since a lot of the guys on the team know a lot of guys on their team, so it just makes the rivalry that more fierce and intense, so that when we play each other on the court, we just try our best just to show each other up, and I think it just makes out to be a really good game.
And Justin, how much of this is going to be about where you are in the standings, and how much of it is about revenge on Friday after losing to them back on December 8th?
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to think of an answer. I mean, it's going to be bragging rights mostly, because I know it's been a while since Meadowdale had beaten Woodway, so that us beating them on Friday would be good for our confidence and our.
Is it a friendly rivalry? Because I know you told me earlier that like Moudane Bull, you play with him at the gym every once in a while, right? Away from structured basketball. So I mean, is this a rivalry that you enjoy? I mean, is there a little trash talking? Is it friendly? I mean, where do you stand in this rivalry?
It's mostly it's definitely trash talking, but I feel like we know each other for a while. It's mostly on like a friend standpoint because we want the best out of each other. So that brings the best out of us. So
it's respectful, right?
Yeah, respectful.
We like to see that. We should mention too that game on Friday, a 5:40 start time. It's earlier because it's a doubleheader. The girls are going to play right after the boys, so which usually means a bigger gym too, right? So we're expecting a few more people at the stable than normal. Is that?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
There we go.
A fun game. I'm looking forward to it.
And I know first and foremost we're kind of looking ahead at this week and then into districts, but looking beyond that, you're both seniors. College ambitions, is basketball part of your future, or what do you want to do going forward? I'll start with you, Oak. What are your intentions next year once you're done with Meadowdale?
Yeah, my intentions were to play ball in college. It definitely started from the training kind of started from after last year's season. I just told myself, okay, I'm going to dedicate all this time to the gym on the court, making sure I get stronger, making sure I tone down, just basically making sure I get my body right for the season, and improve my skills, especially down low, maybe develop a little bit of a shot to really help the team out on that side, because I know my defense is already there at the top. So, probably didn't work out as much as I wanted it to. Kind of wanted to grow a couple inches and it'll help me out, but of course that didn't happen. But hey, I mean, you have to work with what I have to work with what I have. So even with that, I'm still stronger than all the matchups that so far this season. So I would like to say that I want to play college ball, but I don't know if that'll eventually work out. But I am looking to study sports medicine in college. So my mom always wanted me to be a doctor ever since growing up. So I was like, hey, take sport, take medicine, put it together.
Combine the two.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you do go the doctor route, not a lot of time for other things anyway, so perhaps maybe not playing basketball will be an easier path to get in there anyway, so congratulations on that. And then Justin, what about you? What does the future hold for you?
Oh, I know I wanted to play basketball ever since I was a little kid. My mom used to tell me that when she was pregnant with me, she used to go down to the park and play basketball. So
getting you ready early.
Yeah, getting me ready early. So I knew, when she told me that, I knew I had a destiny for basketball, and ever since then I've been, as long as I can remember. So hopefully college is where I want to go as far as the next level, and I think I could get there as long as I work in the summer, get stronger, because not big as Okoro. Get stronger, definitely work on my individual game. But yeah, college is looking good right now. So
So we will see how that goes. That's a little bit further down the road. Right now we're worried about Everett on Monday, Edmonds-Woodway Friday. Districts start up in about 2.5 weeks, guys, and we'll take it from there. So again, Justin, Oak, thank you both for coming in today. Best of luck, not only this week, but into the rest of the season, and we'll see where the Mavs can take it.
All right, thank you.
Well, good luck to the Mavericks. I hope they continue to have success.
Yeah, it's a team that is very slowly starting to put it together. A team that made it to districts for the first time last year in 6 seasons. So the fact that they're well ahead of the pace again this year and looking like they're on their way, it's nice to see Roger O'Neill and the crew getting the job done over there.
Yeah, and I understand we have another Player of the Game award to give out.
We do. We're not done talking about the basketball teams yet. The Lynnwood Royals, the girls picked up a big win over Meadowdale this week, a game in which they led 20-0 at one point. And that's correct. 20-0 was the score. Rachel Walsh, the senior, during the course of that 20-0 run, I think she had 11 points, hit a couple big threes, had an assist. She also sings national anthem at a lot of their games too. So for everything she does on the court, we're going to give her the Action Jackson Plumbing Player of the Week. So Rachel Walsh and her teammates will continue to follow the Royals as well as they look to get back to perhaps the Tacoma Dome again this year.
Very good. And do we have other basketball to talk about, or are we moving on to the next
I think
topic?
we're ready to move on. There is
Okay.
a lot going on this week. We should
Yeah.
mention one more time, though. I guess it's not the rubber chicken match the second time
No.
around, but we do have the doubleheader coming up this week. I know that's big in the communities for Meadowdale and Edmonds-Woodway. Again, they're going to be at the Stable this time around. Friday night, 5:40, the boys, Meadowdale boys hosting the Edmonds-Woodway boys, and then immediately following that game, the girls do battle. So certainly if you are a fan of Meadowdale or Edmonds-Woodway, get there early. I'm sure the gym's going to be full, but it should be an exciting evening.
Yeah, it'll be a fun time.
Indeed.
So, okay, and let's talk about cheer.
Something we don't say very often,
We
right?
don't.
Let's talk about
But
cheer.
it's a sport.
It is a sport, and it's a sport with state champions.
Yeah.
And they're going to crown a state champion next Saturday. Their cheer teams are going to be heading down to Battleground, Washington for the state championship competitions. We've got a couple teams that are going to be down there, one of which is the Lynnwood Royals. They're heading back to state for the 3rd consecutive year. Figured why not bring the Royals in to talk about that. So Brooke and Karli were in studio to talk about the Royals week coming up and their state tournament. For the 3rd straight year, the Lynnwood Royals cheer squad is heading to the state championships. And with us right now, 2 of the 4 captains, 2 seniors. We have Brooke Thompson and Karli Scott. Ladies, congratulations on qualifying and making it back to state.
Thank you.
And I guess I should ask, how big of a deal is this? Obviously, state, we don't think of cheer necessarily for the longest time. Traditionally, it's more you go out, you perform at high school sporting events, and then you're done. But it's a sport in itself now. Brooke, how big of a deal is this to qualify for state?
It's a huge deal just because it takes so much work from all of us to do that, because it's so based on a team rather than like an individual, because we put so much work into it, and the improvement from my first year is huge.
And we should mention, Karli, this is a Lynnwood team that didn't even compete at any level until 2 years ago. This is the 3rd year in which they've actually been competitive. To get to state in that first year was a nice feather in the cap, but it seems like as the team evolves and as you go along here, it does become more competitive, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. In our first year, we didn't really know like how we were going to do or where we were going to go with this, but throughout the 3 years, our team has improved by so much, and we're just super excited to be going to state again.
So now, Brooke, you're in your 3rd year on the cheer team.
Yes, I am.
So now when you joined cheer, and obviously your freshman year, they didn't compete. They were just, again, they're at sporting events.
Mm-hmm.
When you get there and all of a sudden you find out, okay, now it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to start to put together routines and to get scored on them and judged. What was the mindset with some of the girls at the time?
I was a little scared at first, personally, just because I didn't have any prior cheer experience, and my first year, it was actually a choice to compete, so I was on the fence about that. I think I originally said, no, I'm not going to, because I was worried that I would be too busy, but I am so glad I changed my mind and said yes, because I can't imagine my life without that.
And Karli, you didn't cheer your sophomore year, right? Mm-hmm. So now what brought you to the team? Was it the fact that... did you see them and talk to them and know that there were competitions taking place? And was that part of your decision?
Yeah, I mean, well, prior to cheer, I was doing a lot of dance, so that kind of helped me decide if I was going to do cheer. And then I had some friends on the team, and my best friend was on the team, And I just wanted to be more involved in my school, and I think cheer was just a fun way to do that. So yeah, I just decided to.
Well, and tell us a little bit about the squad too. How many members are on the team?
There's 21, and 14 of us compete.
So what is that like? So when you say 14 of you compete, so again, obviously when you're going out and performing at football games and basketball games, the other 7 are part of that group. Do they still attend practices? Do they attend different tournaments? Are they going to be at state with you next week, Karli? What?
Yeah, we have regular practice and comp practice, and then the people who don't compete are always welcome to comp practice, and they watch us and help us critique things, and it's a good way for us to improve as well. And then they are coming with us to state, which will be really exciting and good for us to bond. And yeah.
Very nice. And Brooke, I know when I was talking to you before the show, we were talking about the 7 of them, and I asked about inclusion and making them feel like they were part of the team, and you mentioned that their role is very vital, right, in terms of the feedback that they do give.
Yeah, I really like being able to hear from someone else who's a cheerleader, who knows what we're doing, just as an outside perspective, because I'm comfortable enough, and they are too, where they can say, that looks terrible, and we can fix it. So I really like their feedback, and just also being around them is always fun.
And much like other sports, you have a coach. How important is a coach? And you have Amber Torres as the coach at the Lynnwood Royals cheer squad. Karli, how vital of a role does she play for this
She's
team?
very important. I mean, she helps us with everything, and she's always just there motivating us and inspiring us, and I don't even know what we would do if she wasn't there for us.
And the fact that the coach is also very instrumental in putting together the routines. How much of a say do the other girls have? Is it one of those situations where the coach and the cheer members talk together about here's what we want to perform, or does she bring a cheer to you and say here's what we're going to do? What's the structure of that?
She's so amazing in all of her experience, and she just knows everything about the cheer world. So I think we all always trust her input. So if she says, oh, I think this will look better, or we should improve on this, we would all agree that she's always right. But we always kind of, I think, are open to discussion and fixing or making decisions ourselves as well. But she's definitely the best.
Very nice. And let's look ahead to the week that's upcoming here. It's a busy week. Not only are you going to state for cheer, it's finals week.
Yeah.
Yay, right? So what does the week look like? I know you've 3.5 days of school to attend this week. Full day Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, half day Thursday, no school Friday. So in terms of getting through with your finals first, is that kind of, obviously that's got to be the focal point, right? At what point does the attention shift from finals to, okay, now we've got to get ready for a state tournament, Karli? Are practices going to be longer this week because it's the state week, or?
They're basically going to be the same, just because our coach wants us to put school first also. So we really prioritize both, but practices will be after school, and then school and studying comes next after that. So.
And Brooke, there's a home basketball game on Tuesday. I understand that that's going to be
Yes.
your last audition, if you will, or maybe a run through for the performance that you're going to put on down at state on Saturday. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it's always good to perform that routine to a crowd, just because it adds more pressure, and it's a good kind of run through, so to say. And that's on Tuesday. So we'll have a couple days after that to make any finishing touches to the routine for Saturday.
So last year the state championships were at Xfinity Arena up in Everett. Well, what's now Angel of the Winds Arena, but it was in Everett. The year before that it was at the University of Washington. This year it's down at Battleground, down in the southern part of the state. So it changes things, right? I mean, you're not able to hop in the car Saturday morning and just head on over to the arena. This year you have to leave a little early.
Right.
Tell me what that's going to be like. What is the itinerary right now? Are you leaving on Friday and staying at a hotel, and does that provide for some team bonding too?
Yeah, we're going to be leaving on Friday, kind of in the middle of the day. We're probably taking a bus down there, and then, we'll stay in a hotel. So we're excited to be together and stay the night together, and it'll be fun.
Tell me a little bit about pre-performance jitters. Do you, I mean, when you're heading down there on Friday, or even right now for that matter, when you have almost a week to go, do you start to get nervous right now, or are you looking forward to it? Are you excited? Is it a little bit of both? Brooke, how are you feeling right now?
Right now I'm okay. When it gets closer, I will be very nervous, and I think Karli would agree, I am probably one of the most nervous people on the team. Before we have a competition, like I need to quiet myself so I don't stress anyone else out and make them more nervous. But having that day before to just spend with the team is gonna help really kind of calm me down and just be more excited.
And your routine is how long?
The routine's about 2.5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
So you go out and you perform one routine for 2.5 minutes. It's a long day. I mean, they basically start in the morning, end in the late afternoon. You get one routine. As of right now, we don't know what time the performance is at, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
So would you rather, in from past experiences, is it better to go in the morning and find out that you're performing at 9 o'clock, 9:30, and just get it over with and have the rest of the day to kind of just decompress and watch everybody else? Or would you rather have a little extra time so that you can kind of prepare a little bit more throughout the afternoon? Where do you stand on that, Brooke?
I definitely like performing better in the morning, other than the fact that we usually have to wake up really early for that. But this is actually good because we'll be close to the high school, so we won't have to account for all that driving time on Saturday morning. But I would prefer to go in the morning just so I can have the day to breathe. But whatever happens, it'll still be fun.
Do we know how many teams you're competing against? I know they're broken down into divisions, and teams were still qualified up until this weekend. Do we have any kind of an idea right now as to how many teams are going to be in your classification?
Not really. It kind of depends. We had a competition yesterday, so that definitely will play a factor in who we'll be competing against. And so once the schedule comes out, though, we'll know who we'll be competing against for sure.
And what are the goals? I know 2 years ago you took 6th place in your division. Last year, 3rd place. Seems like you're climbing the ladder there. Is it possible? I mean, are we thinking that maybe the Lynnwood Royals will have a state championship next week? Is that something you let yourself think about, Brooke?
Yes, but to an extent, because you can want that and hope for that, but you have to put in the work to do that. So I can say, okay, I really want this, but I need to prove that we can do this, and really push myself in that perspective. So we're hoping for it, but it's going to take a lot of work.
Absolutely. Is it a fun team? I know we always talk about chemistry and how teams work with one another. Karli, is this a team that enjoys being around one another and hanging out with each other?
For sure. We're always making each other laugh, and we do fun things all the time. We're always dancing or playing music and just having fun with each other, and yeah.
So the bus ride down to Battleground, what's that going to be like, Brooke?
I'm sure there will be a big speaker, and we will play music. Might be a little sleeping because I think we'll be pretty tired on that 4-hour drive. But it's going to be really fun. Everyone's going to be super excited and just ready to go.
It's a good thing they have the day off on Friday then, so you can focus all your attention on that. As far as cheering throughout the year, favorite moments, maybe it's not even this year, maybe it's in past years too. I know for you, Brooke, you were part of the cheer squad 2 years ago when the girls basketball team played in the Okeoma Dome. What's that experience like?
That's super fun. Because we get to miss school. That's
always
good.
a perk, right?
But it's just fun to do that over the course of a couple days, and we get to take the bus down as a team, and also just get involved with our basketball team, because I like just that with cheer. You can interact with other cheer teams, but also your crowd and your sports team. So it's really fun, and the energy is always super high.
And what about you, Karli? Do you have favorite events that you cheer at or favorite moments from cheer?
My favorite is probably football season, just because we always do team bondings before the games and get ready together and eat together, and then we all drive down together, and there's always a big crowd at football games, and people are always just so excited to be there. And
even on those rainy Friday nights in November, are you still you still having a good time with that? Is it?
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, it makes it more fun in a way. It's just more exciting.
Very nice. So again, Battleground High School this coming Saturday. We don't know the time yet. We'll certainly work on getting that out to you. You're both seniors. Is this something you'd want to do maybe in college? I mean, do you have any aspirations of taking this to another level, or maybe it's a different form of cheer? Maybe it's dance or anything along those lines. Karli, I'll start with you.
I'm definitely considering joining a dance team in college. I would say a lot of colleges look for flyers in cheer, and so I think that I wouldn't be a flyer, so I would definitely look into dance, and that's something that I love as well. So
Sure. And Brooke, as far as you're concerned, are you will this be it for you for cheer at the end of this year? Or?
Most likely, yes. If I tumbled, I would potentially do cheer in college, but at this point it's looking like a no, which I'm okay with that. So we'll see.
And if it is in fact the end of your cheer career, tell me a little bit about what it's meant to you, because I know you were talking to me off camera about how much you feel like you've grown as a person from doing cheer. Tell me a little bit about
Yeah,
that.
I really have. I say the biggest thing that it's helped me with is just really coming out of my shell. And everyone on this team knows how weird and crazy I am. But outside of cheer, that showed a lot more. But as a freshman, like first joining the sport, I was super shy and timid, and I just wanted to get involved. So it's allowed me to meet tons of new people and just done things that I would have never thought I could do. So it's pushed me a lot.
Had a chance to meet a lot of people, done a lot of interesting things, been at quite a few events, and now hopefully bring home a state championship maybe next Saturday. Win or lose, though, I have a feeling you're both gonna have a really good time along with your teammates. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So again, Brooke, Karli, thank you very much for coming in, and best of luck to you at Battleground next week.
Thank you.
It's always good to hear more about cheer because I think sometimes we forget it's a sport and very competitive, and in fact, they get injured an awful lot.
They get injured probably more than any other sport per capita as far as visits to the emergency rooms. A lot of flying around and kicking and concussions and other things. Fortunately, these girls, we were talking to them before the cameras were rolling. A lot of bruises this year and sprains, but nothing too serious. So we hope they continue that into the weekend and wish them nothing but the best of luck down in Battleground.
That's right. Well, and now we have wrestling to talk about.
We do. The Jim Root Memorial Wrestling Tournament took place last weekend down in San Jose, California. Guess who? The Edmonds-Woodway Warriors. Surprise, surprise. Not only were they down there, but they were doing very well. This is a tournament that brings a lot of the top teams on the West Coast in, and 40 teams total. Edmonds-Woodway took second place, and we do want to single out a few of the competitors here, as Grayson LeCompte took first place in the 126-pound division, and then 3 of the Warriors took second place. We had Baylor Dinkinger for the 106-pounders, Salou Fateh for 145, and Cole Hadadler for the 152-pounders. Good week for Edmonds-Woodway all around, too. They then came back. They defeated Meadowdale this past week, and now they take on Shorewood on Tuesday night. If they win that match, they win the West Coast South title. So certainly another big year for the Warriors, and it's just beginning, right? Because it's district tournaments coming up the following week, and we're not that far off from state championships coming up in mid-February.
Matt
Classic.
Gosh, yeah.
I think they'll have a few people down at Matt Classic this year.
Yeah, I think so too. All right. Well, anything else we need to talk about right now?
We've pretty much covered it all. So much going on right now. Again, regular season's wrapping up. A state championship to be crowned potentially this coming Saturday. It's that time of year.
That's right, and lots of games still to go to see, matches if you want to see them, and we will.
Meadowdale, Edmonds-Woodway,
Yeah,
girls
don't
and boys
forget
in
that.
basketball.
That's a big one.
2 for 1, right? You get there early. It's going to fill up the stable at Meadowdale High School Friday night.
Yeah.
Boys teams playing each other at 5:40, followed by the girls team. So certainly a recommendation there for the upcoming week.
A good time. All right, very good. Well, we will see you all next week. Thanks for joining us.